Hi, friends. I'm Carrie Jo, and this is Holy Chuckles Podcast. This is a space for honest faith, lived experiences, and shining a light in the places we've learned to hide. I'm not here to explain faith. I'm here to live it out loud. So take a breath and let's make room for what's real. Welcome back to Holy Chuckles Podcast. I'm really glad you're here. Where we left off is the Israelites had lost the battle to the Philistines. The question they asked, why did the Lord bring defeat on us today before the Philistines? And before God could even answer that question, even throw them a breadcrumb, they said, let us bring the ark of the Lord's covenant from Shiloh, so that he may go with us and save us from the hand of our enemies. In the next verses, they sent men to Shiloh to pick up the ark. These men come back carrying the ark of the covenant of the Lord. And this ark is not like a small trinket box. It's not like a shadow box. It's this huge, huge box made of gold and stones. And inside the box is Aaron's rod. It has the 10 Commandments that Moses chiseled on stone. This Ark of the Covenant is heavy. It's large. It's not something that one man could carry. It took many men to carry. And when the ark showed up at the camp of the Israelites, they cheered, they roared. Their cheering could be heard for miles. They were so excited. It says in verse 5, Israel raised such a great shout that the ground shook. They couldn't wait for God to answer the question that they asked. But they made so much noise when a box full of trinkets, yes, that meant something to them, that meant something to their people. But they made so much noise that it shook the ground when that box showed up. When I read this, I was like, wow, that box was important. And the first question that came to mind is, why did they suddenly become so confident? What changed? Was it their hearts that changed, or just the circumstances? Did they start trusting God, or were they trusting the symbol of God? And then I had to ask myself a question. How many times have I looked for something external to change my circumstance? I've looked for relationships, jobs, money, success, just like the Israelites. They didn't trust God, or they would have waited for an answer. They didn't trust God, or they wouldn't have sent people back to get the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord, because they would have already known God was with them the whole time. They didn't need a box full of items. God was with them the whole time. And they didn't even ask, what could we do better? How could we change? What in this battle could we be doing better? They didn't even ask if they should be in the battle. This past Sunday, man, verse 4 and 5 came rushing in for me. I hadn't even edited my last episode before my lesson had already started. The whole weekend, things had just been crazy. Where I live, everyone's packing, everyone's getting ready to move. The noise level is heightened. Frustration is heightened. People are running out of patience. In the environment that I live in, some people are more courteous than others. Throughout this whole experience, I've talked about living in this system that doesn't match me. And I knew that was the purpose. Me living alone, I wasn't growing in the ways that I needed to be growing. I wasn't seeing the wounds that I still needed to heal. So I know living here had its purpose, and God had a reason for me to be here. One of the lessons that I'm learning by living in this environment that doesn't match me is, how am I going to respond? How am I going to respond in these circumstances? And Saturday, I had been overstimulated and I was at my breaking point. I'm really affected by noises, especially when I'm overstimulated. I didn't understand that about myself before. I knew things that bothered me and I thought they were just little tics or ADHD or OCD or whatever you want to call it. And they would frustrate me, a pin clicking or extra noise. What I didn't know is that my nervous system was overstimulated. And that's why those noise bothered me so much. My nervous system this past weekend, it was working overtime. And my roommates, noise doesn't bother them. Chaos doesn't bother them. The things that bother me doesn't bother them. And I know I said a few seconds back that some people aren't as courteous in this environment as others, but I'm going to go ahead and take that back, because it's not that they are not courteous. It's just that's where they're at. These things don't bother them, and that's okay. We're all different. We all do things differently. We all live differently. So what bothers me doesn't bother them. And this Saturday, they made a decision that really threw my nervous system in a overdrive situation. They threw a wrench in a system that I thought was unnecessary, but it worked for them. I have another roommate that she realized kind of what was going on, and she graciously said, "Hey, do you want to go get an iced tea?" I cannot resist a great cup of iced tea. So we went ahead and drove about 20 minutes to HTO. And all the way there, I let my frustration out. And all she did was nod and politely shake her head and just stay quiet, because she realized I needed an outlet. I was at my full capacity. I had had enough, and I needed an outlet to release the frustration that was inside. Before in my life, I would have shoved that frustration down, not taken a break, and just kept going. But I was so grateful that I had someone in my life that could see what was happening and could take me out of that situation just for a few minutes so I could release that frustration. I came back to this house different. The circumstance was the same, but I was different because I took the time to reset my nervous system and get centered. Just leaving the house for 45 minutes to an hour helped me reset everything so I could come back and finish the rest of my day and not literally lose all this progress that I had made and go back to who I used to be because I got overstimulated. My nervous system was at its max capacity. Saturday ended, went to bed, woke up Sunday. I recorded and edited an episode. My roommate, who I left the day before to go get the tea, said, "Hey, that HTO tea was really good yesterday," which I knew she meant, "You want to go get another one?" Yes, please. Yes, I do. I needed a break. I needed to breathe. On our way, we had another talk, but it wasn't like the talk we had the day before. That talk was just me venting, releasing, frustration just spewing. This talk, it was about letting others' actions not dictate my actions, not being like the other people around me. And maybe I should say, not even not being like the other people around me, understanding that people around me don't live like me, and that's okay. And however they live, I just have to accept and be okay with it and not let it affect me. But if it does, or if it's going to, and if I know that, I have to find ways to get centered and grounded and be okay inside a system that doesn't match me. As we were having this talk, I didn't even say it out loud, but I decided in those moments who I wanted to be in this system that doesn't match me. Even if the people here decided just to live how they wanted to live, not even thinking or worrying about the community environment, just living how they wanted to live, even when the people that I share space with throw monkey wrenches, unnecessary monkey wrenches, into the system that we all live in. I still want to decide, even in those moments, who I want to be and what kind of person I want to be. We returned home again, and again I realized nothing with my circumstances had changed, but I did. My heart felt lighter. My nervous system felt at ease. I felt centered, and I felt okay to go on with my days. After returning home both times this past weekend, I understood when Israel brought the Ark of the Covenant to their camp, Israel's hearts didn't change. What changed for them is that the Ark showed up. Suddenly they're shouting, cheering, confident, excited. But they hadn't become more confident in their relationship or in their alignment with God. They felt better because something external arrived to give them that confidence, to make them excited. This past weekend, for me, nothing external happened. My circumstances where I'm at and all around me stayed the same. There's still chaos where I live, still people who are not aligned with me. But what happened this weekend is I changed. My heart changed. And my heart didn't change suddenly. My heart changed because I made a decision to change it. I asked God to hold me through the change and walk with me through the change because I'm the only one who could make the change and do the work. The Israelites cheered because a box showed up. They didn't go to God and say, "We were defeated, and I really hate these circumstances. I really don't like where I'm at, and I really don't like what's happening to me. But I know I'm here for a reason. God, what do you want me to learn from this? What are you trying to teach me through this? It sucks. I'm not having any fun. But what do you want me to learn from this situation? What do you want me to learn from these circumstances?" I've said it before. On March 27th, God gave me a place to live with like $1.50 in my account, and I was so grateful. What I didn't say before is how much I was resisting where God was sending me because I didn't want it. I wanted to live in the system that I wanted to live in, but God had other plans because God knew the wounds I needed to heal. And God knew that I wasn't going to heal them living alone. And so God made it possible for me to have a safe place to live in a system that didn't match me because God knew I needed to change my heart, not the circumstance.